Hello, everybody. My name is Alfredo Mushanga. I am from Mozambique. I am lead developer at So Digitals or His Mozambique, and I'm here to present the D2D application. D2D is a DHIS2 application that aims to send data into DHIS2. And during this presentation, I'm going to do a contextualization, specified problem, the solution, do the demonstration, talk about the impact, and final, I'm going to talk about next steps related with this application development. So, uh, according to our experience related with DHIS2 implementations, because we are supporting the Lusophone countries. We are mainly supporting the Lusophone countries. I'm talking about Angola, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, and Mozambique. We have faced various situations, and one of the most common is the existence of more than one DHIS2 instance for the same organization. And on this case specifically, we are going to use the Mozambican use case. Mozambican has two instances, one for aggregated data and the second one is for individual data, and both of them are full operational and daily receives data for different users. What is the problem? There is maybe exists main problems or main situations related with the existence of more than one instance. But on this case, we are going to focus in one specific problem, because nowadays health professionals enter daily data related with morbidity and mortality, and they do that process using the individual instance according to the event capture application. So they use event capture to register the morbidity and mortality events. But at the end of the month, the same health professionals have to send the aggregated information or the aggregated data of the same cases to the aggregated instance. So, with this situation comes two main problems. The first one is the duplication of effort for data entry, because the same data is entered in two different instances, and this process is done by the same group of health professionals. The second one is the disparity between the data obtained in the individual instance and the data obtained in the aggregated instance, even though the source is the same. Both of them use the same source. So the fact of being a difference of data consists a big problem nowadays for the programs, because they have to decide which data they are going to use to as the official one and take decision of that. So as a solution, our team developed D2D. D2D is a web app, DHIS2 web app, that allows transfer data between DHIS2 instance on this specific situation. And currently, the data is sent for a program, I'm talking about tracker or event, to a data set. So D2D is interoperability application, but on this case specifically, we're going to talk about how data can be sent for program data, I'm talking about track or events, to a data set. And the main important aspect is that all this process is performed through a graphical user interface. And this is a generic solution and was developed based on DHIS2 standard. We used React, D2 UI, and we are storing the data at DHIS2 data store. So it's generic solution. It means the members of the community, the DHS2 community, can download and install the app without the intervention of the developers. So this is the current scenario. In Mozambique, we have two instances. This one is the individual instance, and this one is the aggregated instance. So in the individual side, we have tuberculosis module. They are having the case-based modules. We have another modules, lepros, and another modules. And here we have the aggregated one. So D2D is in the middle, getting data from this side and sending to the other side. I'm now going to do a demonstration to show how we develop it, or what we develop it, and how does it works. For that, I'm going to reinstall the application at Play version 230. What I'm going to do here is just open the app, and the app is D2D. It's called D2D. I'm just now going to click the app, and what we have inside the app, in the left side we have the global menu, where here we have home button where we describe the components. We have data set where we show the previous history. We have configuration where the user can add hosts. Okay, if I want to connect to that two systems, so I have to set the configuration of the other system, the source system. And final, we have the user guide. The user guide is embedded in the app. Why we did that? Because we know that one of the main factors to have an application being used is that it must be accessible. And providing the user guide inside the app is a way to make sure that every time that you want support, they are going to find the support in the app. So you can scroll here and you can see all of the things related with the application usage. So for now, what we're going to do is just to set up a configuration. We want to set up a configuration, and we prepare an example here. We want to send this data at play to 2029. Okay, it's program indicators. They are program indicators. We want to send that program, these program indications coming for individual program to this aggregated form. Okay, so we have one side the individual one, and the other side we have the aggregated one. So we selected the same organization unit just to see how is it going to work. The data is coming for 229 and is coming to 230 to the same organization unit. So what is the process for that? The first thing is to do the configuration. If you want to get data from 230 instance for DHS to 210 instance, we have to do the configuration. For that, we just have to click here where we have to describe we have to fill the URL. Okay, URL is here. Set the username and password and connect. The connect was done successfully. Otherwise, the system was going to show a message and couldn't show these two labels. So here we have a label. The label is going to be the name of this host in the application. We have to fill also the description. So the description is just a way to get a font to differentiate the different hosts. So this is the list of these hosts. So I set up a host. Now I have to do a mapping. So what is a mapping? Basically, a mapping is just to say that this field, for example, this one is inpatient bed days, is related with this one, inpatient bed days. On one side we have program indicators, in the other side we have data element. Okay, this is what we call this is the concept of mapping our contents. So here we have BMI female. So come here, BMI female is here. So this is the mapping that we're going to do. And how is it done? We just click in the head button and select the data set. that contains the data. On this case is morbidity and mortality. So come here and select the data set. Where is the data set? Here is the data set, morbidity and mortality. And here we select the program, and the program is inpatient, morbidity and mortality. So selecting the data set, the system show the data element, and selecting the program, the system show the program indicators. So we're going to do the mapping between data set and program indicators. So the first one that I'm going to add here is the inpatient beds. So I have to come here and also look for inpatient beds, related with inpatient beds. The second one is going to be BMI female. So here I have to come and select BMI female. The other one is BMI male. Here I have to come and do the same, select BMI male. And final, inpatient case female, inpatient case male. And here I'm also going to do select the same, inpatient case female, inpatient case males. As you can see, we did the mapping. At the position 1, we have BMI female. Here we have also BMI female. So the number of rows must be the same in the left and in the right. Okay, now I'm just going to fill this field. This field is the label of this data set. Just don't use the data set name. Just take the label. If you don't fill, by default it's going to assume the data set name. Okay, after that, what I'm going to do is just to save. And saving, here I can see the mapping is saved. If I had another configuration of the same instance, I would just head here plus button and add the same information. So after heading the configuration, okay, it's visible here. I have here my hosts. I will just have one plate 229. If I want to add more than one mappings, I have to do inside this configuration. So the next step, if we already set up the host, what we have to do is to send the data. Now we are going to send data for the program indicators to data elements, and the procedure is the following. Just first of all click on data set. After that, click plus button, select the data set based on the configuration, and it's going to show here the period. So the period is related with the data set. The data set is monthly. The previous you're going to see only monthly, is not editable. If it's weekly, it's going to be weekly. And it is going to show here the options. On this case, we are going to send data for November. Okay, we can start from December. For December, first of all, okay, December 2018, here is, and we have to select here the organization unit, and we use organization unit groups. Why do we use organization unit groups? We understand that the implementation of this process is not going to be once nationwide. Maybe it's going to take steps. So what's going to be done is to create a group, name it, for example, health facilities available for automatic data sending, and this group is going to be used as the base. So we are not going to send data to the groups that are not allowed, and we are not also going to select organization units one by one. On this case, we're going to use urban as an example. Okay, urban was selected. After that, what I have to do is just to click in import, and the system is importing. The importation is done, so I just have to come here and refresh. Okay, mortality and morbidity, it is previous here, December. Okay, here we have the data 1460,668. Okay, here we have the data. Okay, and here we have the data. If you want, we can send again now for November. The group is the same, data set is the same. Just import, and the importation is done once. Come here and what is it? Yeah, here is the data. So this way the importation is done. The data are coming from the program indicator. The indicators is arrayed at data elements. After that, can go back, and here I have the history. So this is the history of data importation for this app. Here we can have the option to see more details about importation, who did importation, when, the timestamp, the date when it was done, and other options here going to view more. Okay, so basically what we have is this. We have all functionalities here on this application. So the application is implemented in Mozambique now. Is used to get data for morbidity and mortality system for individual system to the aggregated system. And we know that sending data between DGS2 instance is a need for any DGS2 implementation that have this kind of configuration, separating tracker data for aggregated data. And in the Mozambican context, the impacts according to the levels are the following. For the end users, they don't need to enter data into instance. Okay, they don't need to enter data into instance. Just enter data in the individual instance, and this is going to aggregate the information and create the aggregated reports. The system admins, they can configure and they can send data for the individual instance to aggregate instance using the UI. So they don't need to have any ICT skill. What they have to know is how to create program indicators and how to create data elements. If they know what's a program indicator and what is a data element, they are able to do this transference of data for individual instance to the aggregated instance. And for the program managers, they are going to have complete and consistent data, because they will not need to receive data for different source. They would have data for one source, and this source is going to be more concise and complete, besides of receiving data for two different sources. And the next step is to expand D2D beyond DHIS2 instance. Now it's working for DHIS2 instance, but the next step is to get data for other systems such as ODK or concurrent to DHIS2 using the same design, using the same way. And the next step is to implement D2D to get data for other systems. So that's what we have to present. Thank you for your time. Bye.